I don't feel today. Ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. We ready. We ready. We ready. We ready. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Well, hello, Houston. I'm back. You didn't scare me off. I'm happy to be back. You are listening to KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM. This is Oh My Goodness Monday, and I am not AJ. I'm the other J. I'm Jennifer, Dr. J. Tebow, and I am so thrilled to be back to really talk about the Monday things. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend, but first, I want to give a shout out to our Friday show, guys. Warren Moon, come on. All right. I'm like, I should brush some dirt off my shoulder on that one. Just to have this mini Oilers reunion from a true Oilers super fan was like super fun. Okay. I can't even begin to tell you how neat it was to bring the guys together and just hear them talk. They jumped at the chance, which I'm so grateful that there was no arm twisting at all. Houston, they still love the city as much as I think most of the city still loves the Houston Oilers. So it was really fun to get Bubba McDowell on. You know, Bubba, if you're listening, remember I talked about if there's an announcement to make, certainly dial in, call me. He got my number. Call me and let's get it on the air. But we talked with Coach Bubba McDowell, formerly of the Houston Oilers, now a just multi-year football coach, currently the interim head coach for Prairie View A&M. And, we just hope to continue to hear great things that come and flow from Bubba McDowell. Hi, Keith. It's good to see you. Keith is already jumping in on the comments. I totally love that. We're not doing call-ins today, but we are doing comments. So if I comment back, even though it may say AJ, you do know it is Dr. J talking to you. So I appreciate you listening. We also had, I'm going to call it a brief cameo of Ernest Givens. We had some technical difficulties. And so we heard him, we saw him, but he couldn't hear us. If you got a chance to watch the broadcast, you also saw a flash of maybe a familiar face. Haywood Jeffries, shout out to Haywood Jeffries. He actually celebrated a birthday yesterday. So I wish we could have had him on the show, but even though we couldn't have him on, it was great to just kind of see his face in the place. Their intent was to have a pop-up of Haywood Jeffries as well. So I just totally love that. But then again, we have Warren Moon that jumped in. Again, technical difficulties. Hey, it's the name of the game. Maybe it was a Friday kind of thing, but we got him on. Did you see, like, if you watched the broadcast, did you see how Warren lit up talking about the CFL? Like, were you surprised by that at all? Like, I was really excited to see that because we don't always get a chance in the States to hear about Canadian football and hear all the pluses. I think oftentimes in the States, we regard the CFL as lesser. It's just a different league. It's not a lesser league. It's just a different league. And there are different rules in play, and some players really like some of the rules. So it was interesting to hear Warren's take on if he was commissioner of the NFL for the day, what rules he'd bring in from the CFL. If I had him on again, I know I would ask him some of the rules that got adopted into some of the newer leagues like the XFL, if some of those may be adopted. Even media changed the way that it interacted with players when you talk about a developmental league like the XFL. So just lots of fast and furious things happening in the world of football, just kind of catching up with the perspectives of people who I really admire. And of course, we had Chris Dishman on as well. And so it was really great just to have him on and be the glue that binds everybody together and just to talk old times, new times, and future times. So I really do appreciate that. If you've never listened to me or met me, I have been a friend of the show for a while. This is something that AJ and I have talked about quite a bit, was that if he ever took a break, could I jump in? I hope that I'm able to actually jump in and fill his very big shoes because he is also the legendary AJ Jones. And so I appreciate the opportunity to actually do that. Just like last week, I have this whole lineup scheduled. We're talking a lot of sports. Obviously, this is a sports show. And so it's a Christian sports show. But all my guests know that. I don't have to remind my guests. But I also would love to remind our fans of the show that that's what I think is the greatest thing about this show, is that it brings this Christian spirit to sports, which most people, if you're in the stands sometimes, Christianity might feel like it's left the building, but it doesn't have to be that way, right? We bring our Christianity everywhere we go. So we're supposed to. Sometimes people may forget a little bit. I may have been guilty a time or two, especially when my child's out there. So I understand how it can be. But I love that this show brings this fresh perspective into the sports commentary. And that to me is just absolutely invaluable. Keith Hennick says the birthday guy wishes he looks like you. I don't know. I don't know if AJ wants a bun on the top of his head. That is a good one, Keith. I appreciate that. You just gotta wonder, what is AJ doing right now? Like, is he hula hooping and still celebrating his birthday? I mean, the man took some days off. Okay, I can appreciate a person that loves their birthday. I know for me, this past birthday, it didn't feel like much of a birthday. I don't know why. Like, normally I'm really excited about my birthday. It's another trip around the sun. And of course, I'm always happy. Every day you open your eyes, you're on the wake up list. That's amazing. But I guess it's the pandemic that has created this like whole, did it really feel like a whole year had passed? So I don't know if I was in denial. Maybe I didn't think I got a year older, or, what really happened in the grand scheme of things. But this particular year, I just didn't feel like it was my birthday. Go figure. We did all the normal stuff we do, presents and singing and cake, vegan cake that is. We literally did all of those things, all the normal stuff, right? That should have gotten me into the birthday spirit. But it just didn't feel like it was my birthday. I guess that's what the pandemic will do to you. It will change a few things. Now, I talked about this on a prior show. A couple of months before my birthday, I actually got COVID, and so it's kind of a unique experience when you do have COVID, because you, once you realize, okay, I'm kind of sick, I'm feeling bad, you feel the symptoms, but then it's the reality of how sick am I going to be. And it's kind of like one of those moments in internal conversations, really, with God, is, what is my outcome going to be? I had already gotten vaccinated. That was important to me personally. So I had both of my shots, and I still got COVID. I felt sick. I had fever, chills, all of that. Didn't lose my sense of smell. But just kind of down and out for several days. And of course, had to stay in quarantine. And so that was a unique experience being in a household where I was the only one with COVID. So having to try to keep separate in order to make sure I was the only one that had COVID. And so that was a balancing act no matter what. And in quarantine, that's like in and of itself, that can make you crazy. It's quiet, it's solitude. There's only so much you can watch on Netflix and those kinds of things. You can email and text people, and everyone's checking on you. Sometimes you feel like talking, sometimes you don't. For me, I got past that and I thought, okay, cool, I'm done. I feel better. I was really tired during that time. What I noticed afterwards is sometimes I get, I think, more tired than I used to. So I don't know if that is my next trip around the sun or if that is COVID. But suddenly, my sense of smell, which was not impacted at all while I had COVID, suddenly my sense of smell has been impacted. It's like, how did this happen 2 months later? So if I give you a funny look and you're standing by me, it's not because I think you smell. I probably can't even smell you, to be honest. I'm smelling smoke, cigarette smoke, of all the things. Apparently, a very common after effect of COVID is some people smell either smoke or like spoiled or rotten food. So I'll take smoke over smelling some rancid food smell. But that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I think my sense of smell is kind of dulled because of it. At first, I thought people were smoking around me, and I thought, "Gosh, somebody's really smoking up a storm." Until I realized the smoke is following me everywhere that I go. So it's just me. This is just how I roll. So I am deep breath, and it just feels like my lungs fill with smoke. So it's really strange, but I'm healthy, and I'm so grateful that through it all, I could do things like this from home, that we can reach out to people who maybe are, in quarantine or who are maybe a little bit more cautious about being out and about. And I understand that. I get it totally. Nobody wants to put themselves in a position to be vulnerable enough to catch something that you may not be able to control, whether it's COVID or anything else. Heck, we're in the middle of flu season as well. There's a lot of things floating around, new variants, outbreaks. And so be cautious, you guys. Do everything you can to keep yourself healthy and the people around you healthy. That's really what I ask. I took the vaccine for me, but you have to make the choice that's right for you. I just say definitely make the decision for what is important for you and consider all of us as you do it. I know people don't like to wear a mask. I mean, it messes up my makeup. All my masks have lipstick on the inside of it because I do the reusables, wash them in reusable masks, trying to save the environment. But I get it. It's not comfortable, but living is certainly more comfortable than an existence where a lot more people are in jeopardy, and that's really the reason why I wear the mask. But it's also great, right? Like there was oh, I forgot. I was talking to someone and they were giving me shocking news. Okay. And it was awesome because with the mask, it covered up my face, shows everything. It covered up absolutely everything, or hope, everything I was thinking. Some of them were not so kind. Some of them were probably unchristian thoughts, I have to admit, but I like the mask because they kind of give me a cover so that I can get my face together or get my eyes together for some of the unsavory things or that we may see or hear or be exposed to out in the world. So masks are not necessarily a bad thing. And so I appreciate you all doing your part during this wild and certainly very crazy time. All right. So I'm broadcasting out of Bradenton, Florida. If you don't know where that is about an hour south of Tampa. So beautiful weather. I'm wearing this turtleneck out of solidarity to all the people that are experiencing very cold weather because it's beautiful outside, y'all. See y'all, that's my Texas coming through. It's beautiful outside. I think we're going to hit probably 80. It's Florida. This is what it is. Like cold is probably around 50 degrees. Go Bucks. I see you. Keith, dude, I got to tell you, Chris and I were watching the Bucks game and what happened? We watched the first half of the game And we turned the channel because we thought, well, we know what this outcome is going to be. And so we went on to watch some other stuff. And then later on, I'm like catching up with, I get alerts for ESPN and all of that. And it says the Bucks won. So go Bucks. And an overtime win. I was like, what? What? Like the score was like 24-3 at halftime. Like, how on earth did this happen? And so I hate that I didn't take the time to watch what unfolded in the second half. I kind of caught up with all the little highlights, just play by play in that way. But man, it had to be something crazy to watch, especially for those Bucks fans who are really rooting for the Bucks and Tom Brady and just that whole organization. We've been there watching a team, watching your team look really up and all of a sudden not be so up. And so the Tom Brady, I mean, what can you say? If I had to bet on anybody, I was going to bet on, even if you told me it went to overtime, that Tom Brady would pull it off. I mean, he is Tom Brady. I mean, he literally could go into the Hall of Fame immediately, even as an active player. That's what Chris and I talked about on yesterday, is that, to say that you could be inducted while you're still playing, that says a lot about your contribution to the sport. The caliber of your play, the idea that after 23 seasons, I think, that you're still playing at this level is just absolutely insane. Chris's comments were, if the game stays the way that it is, it's really designed for a quarterback like a Tom Brady. Mind you, he's a phenom, right? But it's designed for a quarterback like a Tom Brady to play for a very long time. So it'll be interesting to see how the sport continues to evolve and how much longer Tom Brady is actually going to be a part of football as an active player. I think he'll always be a part of football. The defense was not well coached in the second half. I see. Keith tells it all. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. You said that. If I had my defensive coach here, he would have probably had some commentary about it as well. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break because I want us to listen to Sybil Wilkes. That is really important. Sybil has information about what you need to know.
It's Sybil Wilkes with What You Need to Know. Today is, we're back at it, Monday, December 13th, 2021. Number 1. Friday night into early Saturday, several tornadoes ravaged entire towns and communities in states including Arkansas, Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, and Tennessee. Meteorologists and storm trackers reported that one tornado stayed on the ground in Kentucky for over 200 miles. The state of Kentucky appears to have sustained the greatest loss of people and damage to property, with a prediction of over 100 deaths. Number 2. One of the benefits of the Build Back Better bill, as the Washington Post reports, is the help that it gives to uninsured Black women and their families. Even though 2 polls show 7 in 10 Texans say they favor Medicaid expansion, the Republican-controlled state government of Texas refuses to help uninsured Black women and their families. Find out more information in today's newsletter, brought to you by the Black Women's PAC. Number 3. According to the CDC, the first handful of Omicron cases in the United States have been mostly mild, with most patients reporting symptoms such as a cough or a runny nose. The findings offer an early glimpse into how people might fare against the heavily mutated COVID-19 variant, now in at least 25 states. More than 3/4 were fully vaccinated, including a third who had also received a booster shot. Number 4, folks are outraged, and an investigation has since been launched after video footage showed a Minneapolis police officer violently arresting an older Black man at a local grocery store in South Minneapolis earlier this month. Officer Christopher Lang could be seen manhandling 64-year-old Troy Lee Billups and pushing him onto the ground. An investigation has since been launched into Lang's behavior after many called for the officer to be disciplined. Number 5. In advance of Thanksgiving and now with Christmas just days away, some of the country's largest grocery store chains are limiting purchases of food items. Many shoppers have already noted shortages of items including turkeys and chicken, canned goods, bottled water, and liquor. Now, as a result of knots in the supply chains, there are additional shortages in a wide variety of stores. Check out today's What You Need to Know newsletter for a list of those restricted food items. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Allow peace to envelop all of your thoughts, feelings, and ideas. All right. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with Chris Paul and Huggy Lowdown, the comedians extraordinaire, and the birthday girl, Coy Malone, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. It's time for gathering with family and friends and overeating. But before you indulge in that dessert, watch my live show with actor David Mann as he talks about how he successfully manages his diabetes. Go to today's newsletter or my YouTube channel to watch and share with your loved ones who are living with diabetes. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, you're listening to Oh My Goodness Monday. This is the lunch break on KYOK AM 1140 92.3 FM. I've got guests, you guys, and one of my guests is already here. Tank, I'll be with you in just a second. We've got a quick sports wrap up. Okay, lots happened this weekend. Alabama has back-to-back Heisman winners. The 2021 Heisman Trophy has been awarded to Alabama's QB, Bryce Young. The honor was handed out Saturday night, and according to the votes, it wasn't even close. This was the first Alabama QB to win the honor. This is actually shocking. Like, they said it. I had to Google it twice to make sure it was right. I know. Yes, I fact-checked. Like, ESPN is full of fact checkers, but, you know, it's who I am. Bryce Young said, whenever you can win an award like this, it doesn't go as an individual award, but it's a team award because I couldn't do it without any of those guys. He goes on to say, I would like to thank Coach Saban. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for your guidance and putting me in situations to be successful and for us as a team to be successful. In winning the Heisman, Alabama became the sixth school to win the award in back-to-back seasons. Wide receiver Devontae Smith won it last year. The Tide's other Heisman winners, including running backs Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram II. All right. NCAA early signing, we're talking football, guys, is Wednesday, December 15th. So many big decisions made this week, and I mean big. You have players decommitting, committing. You have coaches leaving one program, going to the next. Decisions are based on so many things. It's like a domino effect. For my old school Houston folks, if you remember the theme park Astroworld, there was a ride called Thunder River. Oh my gosh, Thunder River was this big round raft where like 12, 14 people could be on it. And you thought you were safe and you're going down this like lazy river kind of thing. And all of a sudden the raft would hit, you twist. And if you thought you were safe, all of a sudden you're doused with water. That's the way it feels with the NCAA early signing with so many changes. And so early doesn't mean that if you're in football that you have to commit on the 15th. It also doesn't mean that there won't be amazing schools that still have slots for you. I tell everyone, take your time, say your prayers, give it to God, and let God's light lead you where football is supposed to be for you in the collegiate life. All right. Urban Meyer has a New Jack Swing. Urban Meyer, where do I begin on this one? So there are constant reports of players being unhappy. I talked about this on Friday with the Jaguars head coach and his coaching decisions. So second, if we hear about it, like we talked about on Friday, you know there's much more to the story. And then third, there's this leak, okay, the most recent, that alleges that Urban Meyer held a staff meeting that sounded like an updated version of Nino Brown in New Jack City, hence the New Jack Swing, right? And so NFL.com reported on Saturday that Meyer recently wanted his assistant coaches to prove their resumes amid this season's struggles. During a staff meeting, it was alleged that Meyer delivered a biting message that he's a winner and his assistant coaches are losers, according to several people informed of the contents of the meeting, challenging each coach individually to explain when they've ever won and forcing them to defend their resumes. Now, I'm a Christian woman, but I can tell you that if my boss, after hiring me and having worked for weeks and weeks and weeks, now wants me to defend my resume, I think it would take Jesus to help jump in and talk to me so that I could say the right words that represented myself well in my Christian light, because I know that that would be something mighty tough on my end. Now, I will say this as a longtime consultant, leadership consultant, performance consultant: when you play the blame game, nothing good at all comes from it. Nothing comes from it. Okay. If you're on a team, you're on a team. Last I looked, the Jaguars record was 2-11. The assistant coach's record is not 2-11. The entire team's record is 2-11. The head coach, the assistant coaches, the players. That's where they're at. It's not pretty, but that's where they're at. It's a team effort, win or lose. That's the way I grew up in sports. You know, there's been these club incidents with Urban Meyer in the public, not a great light. The Jaguars came out and said they're sticking with him. You know, I don't know. It's his first season. Keith, I think you're calling it right. He's an excellent coach. He's got 3 championships. Okay, so we are definitely, if we have him stand up to defend his resume, he's got 3 championships. But you know, at the end of the day, he's in the NFL, and this is a different level. And you know, I just don't know. I agree with you, Keith, that this may be a little bit too much, or maybe not the right timing or the right circumstance for Urban Meyer. But we shall see. Time is going to tell on that one. I do need to cover sad news in the football world. Demaryius Thomas passed away at 33 years old. Out of respect for the story, which actually broke before our last broadcast, I held off on reporting it because there was not a lot of information about what happened, and I just wanted to allow more information from credible sources to come through about what was going on. Demaryius Thomas, the 10-year NFL recent retiree, was found dead in his home in Georgia. His family speculates that the former All-Pro Broncos wide receiver suffered a seizure, which led to his death. The Denver Broncos honored their brother wearing number 88 decal on their jerseys, a tribute and moment of silence in the opening drive of their game, by having 10 men on the field. It was emotional. It was a beautiful tribute to a young man most definitely gone too soon. Switching over to Lambeau Field, Rodgers makes good on his game. I'm not talking about the game on the field. I'm talking about the spitting his game, talking his game. Hi, Bears fans. In the words of Wendy Williams, how you doing? Rodgers earlier this year said he owned you, and well, they won again. Rodgers scored 4 touchdowns. Bears fans are probably sore, but at the end of the day, Rodgers' pinky toe, his left pinky toe, is sore too. I know what you're saying. It's a left pinky toe. But if you drop something on any left or right pinky toe, you are dropping to the ground, okay? So it's amazing that this man could still do his job with his pinky toe hurting, but it's fractured, okay? It's not like it's just painful. It's a fractured situation. So they're speculating he's probably going to deal with this nagging injury until the rest of the season. And I know it's a toe. We think it's just a small thing, but there have been plenty of players that have been taken down by toes. And so far, Rodgers is pushing through and he's winning. So we'll see what happens. Just asking everybody to stay clear of Rodgers' pinky toe. Lions, Tigers, and COVID. Oh my. So in the NBA, the Bulls, for whatever reason, have been hit really hard with COVID. They have now their 10th player in the COVID protocol. And so they only have 8 players available for Tuesday's game. That's going to be kind of tough. And so, you know, what do? Do they start to postpone games? That has like this whole ripple effect for how the NBA does their schedule. Would they start pulling people up from the G League if they start to get even lower? Do you want to play against the Bulls if they have COVID running rampant through their team? You know, that's a question for them. I can tell you I would be a mite bit nervous. Okay, that's the wrap up of sports. We've got our guest up, but before we do, I definitely want to take a quick commercial break. We want to hear from Jacqueline Carr in the Winning Strategies. Don't forget, you've been listening to Oh My Goodness Monday on the lunch break at KYOK AM 1140 92.3 FM.
I am Jacqueline Carr, And here is your winning strategy. Learning to save $2 or $3 out of every $10 was one of the lessons my parents shared with me. They wanted us to start early, teaching how to save so that we could break the curse of living from paycheck to paycheck and borrowing to make ends meet. My parents said that finances are a struggle for people, even good people. They wanted us to appreciate the finances we had, but also have wisdom of spending it. I had to learn it as a child that even though my parents gave me a roof over my head, food to eat, and clothes to wear, if I wanted to go to the movies or skating, I had to save money for those things. I began to encourage myself to save money. I learned that youth respond better if we challenge them even at a young age to learn how to manage every dollar they get.
Welcome to Allstate, where we've just lowered our auto rates. And savings like that will have you jumping for joy. Now get new lower auto rates with Allstate, because better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click or call for a lower auto rate today.
All right, we are back, and guess what? We are live and in color, and I'm so happy to bring this very special guest. So I had to put some great music on to give this man the intro that he deserves. Working on his 20 plus years as a Special Olympics athlete is just one of the reasons this Houstonian is someone I call my friend. Derek Tank Shottle brings joy and positive energy to everyone around him. From his inspiration in sports to his acts of kindness broadcast through social media, Tank is the light we all need in our lives. He made headlines a couple of years ago when funding for the Special Olympics was potentially on the chopping block. Tank answered the call to speak up and out about the value of the Special Olympics to our communities around the world. He's on all major news outlets, and I'm thrilled Tank answered the call today for KYOK Lunch Breakers. I am pleased, so pleased to welcome my buddy, Tank Shottle. Tank, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Oh, I don't know if I can hear you, Tank.
Can you hear me? Oh.
I'm not sure that I can hear you.
Oh, let me hold on.
Let's see. Okay, Tank will jump right back on. So let me tell you a little bit something about Tank. So when I first met Tank, I met him through social media, like so many people, right? It's amazing what the algorithm can do. We always talk about the algorithm on Twitter, sometimes being a bad thing. But if you're following the right things, the algorithm actually puts you to the right situation. Oh, thanks, Keith. I appreciate that. You could hear him. So maybe for some reason I could not hear Tank. How about that? Let's try me turning my volume up. Okay. So at any rate, Tank will jump back in. But I start seeing Tank come through the actual airwaves. And I was like, wow, okay. I like this. All right. So let me see what is so special about Tank. And so I start following him. And it's like, if you have a bad day, then all of a sudden Tank brings you up. He's constant. It doesn't matter what's going on in this world, whether it's some level of disaster or some just phenomenal things that are happening. Tank always manages to find this amazing light that is just the light that you need at any particular moment. And what's also fascinating to me is that with Tank, let's see, I'm get Tank back on. Tank, can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
I can. That's awesome. I was just saying all these great things about you. I was saying with you on Twitter, you've connected so many different people just through you. Like you are this great force and this energy force and this light that has connected people from literally all over the world. But most importantly, welcome to the show. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
That's wonderful. So now you're in Houston, but you've been a traveling man. You just came from, was it San Antonio?
Yeah, I was in San Antonio yesterday for the Team Texas Unify soccer practice yesterday.
That is awesome. So how did it go? Because I heard, soccer's like really busy. It's active sport. So are you feeling it?
Yeah, it's my first time being a goalie. My jersey number will be 00.
Right.
I had a great practice yesterday. Made some tough saves, and I got hit in the face, but I get hit many times. I play a lot of sports, so I'm used to getting hit, so I'm used to it. But I just love to have fun, play with my new teammates, and I'm very excited to go to Orlando, Florida next year for the USA National Games.
Very good. So this is the team that you're going to Florida with next year. And I look, I'm telling you, I am setting my plans. I got my pom-poms. I'm ready. Go Tank, go Tank. You're gonna hear me. Maybe we can even do like a live broadcast as you're competing. I'm really excited for you.
There's gonna be a lot of people there in Florida, so they're all very excited to have me. There will be my first time in Florida, so I always want to go to Florida. So I'm very excited to go to Disney and all these wonderful places. I can't wait to meet so many wonderful people there.
Absolutely. Now tell me, a couple years back when the funding was potentially cut, right? What made you say, I've got to say something? I have to speak out.
Well, someone sent me a tweet that year. I was laying down, relaxing, checking on Twitter, see what's been going on of the country, and then someone sent me a tweet that Betsy DeVos was going to cut the funding, and then I decided to make a video on that night what Special Olympics means to me. And then, I told everyone what it meant to me, and I wanted to share that to everyone. And then I had someone from the Washington Post want to interview me on the phone, and then after that, the next day it went viral. I didn't think it was going to go viral. I was surprised, but I think it was for me. I think it was great to hear my voice. And then Wednesday, the Special Olympics headquarters in Connecticut and Special Olympics in Texas, we had a conference call that day, and they wanted to make sure that they didn't want to put me into the political situation on both parties, which had never happened. So I was very grateful
Right.
for that. And so I was upset because everything was so overwhelmed for me. I didn't think this was going to be crazy, to be honest with you. But I mean, everything was so overwhelmed for me because a lot of reporters want to interview me. I have a lot of respect for reporters, and I have a lot of friends that are reporters, and I love them very much. And it was hard for me to adjust for that when that came to that point. And then CNN when it interviewed me the next day, so I was interviewed that day, and then I was dressed up nice that day. I was on TV for the first time being on national television, so I wanted to share my story to the world. And then my dad was with me, and he told me, son, stay calm, stay relaxed, just speak from your heart. And I did a great job. Once I left CNN, once I was done, people on Twitter told me, Tank, you're our hero. Thank you for what you did. And then when I got home, we recorded the interview. So I looked myself on TV and I said, wait, who's that handsome guy? Oh, that's me. I look handsome. And then so I mean, this, like my dad told me before, son, not many people get that opportunity like that. I mean, it's a rare opportunity to do that. And so when I finished, and then I was interviewed from HLN TV as well. I was on Skype as well. And so after that, after when I was done with CNN, I went home and just took rest and relax and see what happened. And when I heard that, Trump was going to keep the funding, I was very grateful for that. And, everyone thanked me for what I did. And it wasn't, I had no intention to draw any attention to anyone when it came to that point. I was just speaking to my voice. And I think it's important that, for what I did, people told me, Tank, this will be your legacy. This will be something that will be remembered. Because if it wasn't for me, it would have gone a different direction. I don't know how would have been, but I think and I was very blessed and appreciate what I did. I mean, my folks and everyone told me that, Tank, not many athletes could have done what you did. You're brave and courage for what you did. You speak your voice. I mean, and I think it's important that, having my voice, because, not many athletes can speak up like I did. I believe anybody
Very
can
true.
speak up about it. And I think it's important that, we want athletes out there, including myself, to hear our voices, because just because we all have different disability doesn't mean we have the voice to make a difference for our country. We want to change the country for what's right. And, look, it was a great moment for me. And that year was one of the best years for me. And I will never take anything for granted for what I did. And I did what was best for me for Special Olympics. And I'm grateful I'm grateful and I'm just thankful for what I did, because, no matter how old I get, no matter how far my future takes me, that year will always be remembered for me. And I'm so blessed with what I did. And, if I'm just thankful and I'm just happy, and everyone was so proud of me for what I did. I mean, it wasn't easy. I mean, it was a lot of work, and
I'm sure
it,
it was
it took a
not.
lot of it took a lot of guts to do it. I mean, but at the end of the day, this will be my legacy, and I will always be the hero for what I did. And no matter what happens to me, I will keep inspiring people and keep changing the world.
Absolutely. And what I love the most is that moment, while you've been this person for a long time, but that moment kicked off people getting to know you. And it was your love of the Special Olympics that kicked it off. But it's really a theme of love for you that is always comes across in every one of your messages. So why is love for people so important to you, to always make sure that you're giving people that love through social media?
Well, for me, I think it's important that, I want love over hate. We get hung up with politics all the time on social media. And look, I love everyone, no matter who you support, who you voted for. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me, I want to be with you and love you and support you any way I can with your life and your future. And sometimes in life that you just never know what's going to be out there for you. I know that there are people are hurting and suffering out there. I try to do my best to be there for everyone on social media. I'm not afraid to say I love you, which I really do mean that for everyone. Just because I'm a stranger to everyone doesn't mean I'm not going to stop loving you, because I do love you. I want our country to be love over hate. And yeah, I mean, there's, with all the politics been going on, with all this pandemic and all this hate, with all the violence and everything going on, I just want love over hate. It's really not that difficult. I mean, if we all can do that together as a nation, as a country, our world would have been a better place. I know there's so much anger and hate out there, and it's, believe me, I know it's hard for people out there are just anger and hate and mad all the time. But sometimes you can't let that hate destroy you. Don't let it destroy you. Don't let it hurt you or anything. And I believe me, I lost people I love as well, and I know there are people that they lost loved ones as well. And believe me, it hurts. It hurts. I know it hurts so badly, and I wish I can be with everyone to hug them, tell them I love them, and I want to be with them and give them hope and love. And I love to comfort people, because we all need comfort. And for me, the only thing I can do, Jennifer, is I will never stop loving you and everyone I love out there in our country, and just be there for them and do what I can to give them hope. And sometimes I do my best. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But at the end of the day, I just want love over hate.
Absolutely. And you and I call each other brother and sister. That's the love that we have. But there's some love I want to give to a fundraiser that you have right now. So I want to make sure that all the listeners hear about it, because they've got to go donate.
Yeah, it's yeah, there's a link that out there that, yeah, there's a link we would appreciate for to donate for the Special Olympics Unified Soccer Team. Our goal is to hit 14,400, but we'll continue to donate once we reach that goal. And I would appreciate for all y'all out there that are watching this to donate our link of our website of Special Olympics Texas, Unified Soccer Team, and for everyone for the organization as well.
Absolutely. And I'll be blasting that out everywhere I absolutely can. Please join me and all of the fans in donating and sending love and light. Tank, how can people stay in touch with you?
Well, I have Twitter and I have Instagram, and that's pretty much it. And I want people to know, Jennifer, my love message to everyone out there, that I love you all very much. Don't give up hope. I know it's tough. I know it's hard what is going on this year. I believe in my heart that once we get into next year, I pray that things will get a lot better. And for all the people out there, my heart goes out to those people during that tornado tragic in Kentucky and those other states. I want to send my love out to those people. And, I always want people to know that I love them very much. And I want you, Jennifer, everyone, know that, just keep thinking of love. And, no matter, and my advice for people out there is, I know we get hung up with politics. Don't let that politics get inside your head. Keep thinking about passion. Think about something that positive that helps you so much in life. Think about people that loves you, cares about you. We all get hung up with politics a lot. And look, it's just the way it is when it comes to politics. It's always going to be there for 24/7. But I want people to keep thinking about love and hope for our country, that things will get better in the future. And I want people to know that don't give up hope. And I believe there's hope for Jennifer and everyone out there that I love. And I will keep loving everyone. And I will, even though I'm not there with y'all in person, I will always love you, and I'll always be there for you, and I'll always come for you. And I'm always here for you. If you ever want to talk to me, I'm right there with you in your heart.
Absolutely. Tank, this heart is just for you. It's just for you. I love you, brother.
I love you.
I appreciate you so much. All right, listen, guys, that was Tank Shottle. Amazing. He is my friend. We're going to take a quick break. You've been listening to Oh My Goodness Monday on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM.
Everybody, it's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3 FM.
Aldine AFT presents a grand gift giveaway. It's a drive-through holiday event. Hi, this is Eugene Johnson with Man to Man Let's Talk.
Hi, this is Shy from Shiloh Radio and the legendary KYOK. Join us Saturday, December 18th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, broadcasting live from Aldine AFT office located at 1404 North Sam Houston Parkway East. We will be giving away free HEB gift cards, turkeys, holiday gifts, and more while supplies last.
And it's open to the community. That's Saturday, December 18th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Aldine AFT office, 1404 North Sam Houston Parkway East.
That's right. Come on by and drive through and get these holiday treats and kick off Christmas with Aldine AFT and the legendary KYOK. We'll see you there.
Oh, I had to get music for this one. So we're back. You're listening to Oh My Goodness Monday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM. Guess what we've got going on? We've got more guests. I've got a guest waiting in the wings. And so I'm excited to have him join. So let me tell you a little bit about him, because he deserved a little music, you all. Started from the bottom. I hope he can appreciate this one. Now he's here. Tony Swindle created the Swindle Group LLC in 2008 to serve as one of the premier basketball training and media companies and college connectors globally. Tony has been involved with making connections from the grassroots level to the professional world, working with multiple companies in the process to identify the next up and coming marketing stars. based out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. What's up, Dallas? Tony is linked in with elite youth programs and directives from coast to coast, giving him the necessary contacts to keep his finger on the pulse of what's next. Swindle has been involved with charting the development of the world's top young basketball prospects and appropriately grading their college and or professional potential. Swindle has become a go-to source for college coaches and major corporations, utilizing his expertise along the way. Yep, he's even got more, but I'm bringing him in because you know what? Your whole intro, everything you've done, I actually won't give you time to talk. Tony Swindle, how are you?
I'm good. How's everything going?
I am fantastic. It's good to see you on the show. We talk all the time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So it's kind of like a guilty pleasure. So now it's like our conversation just gets recorded, in the Christian sports world. So, I would definitely take that. I have to start off and tell people how we met, okay? Because it's so perfect, especially on this particular show, because it is God. Like it truly is God. Yeah, some people go, "Oh, that's God." Like that's a phrase people use a lot, but seriously, that's God. So, as many people know, my daughter Liz Smith plays basketball, and I was not a basketball player, I was a gymnast. And I was a great gymnast. I was not a great basketball player. I was a competitor, but I did not have the basketball talent at all. It's just what it is. God did not bless me in that category. So here's my basketball playing daughter. She's starting out, and she's on a team. But I'm thinking we've got to be able to do this differently. It's just kind of like my idea of how things work in sports. And so I thought she needs to train. That's what you do in gymnastics. You train, and then you compete. And so I thought to myself, I do not know basketball well enough to know how to judge a great trainer. Like this is really, I'm at a true disadvantage here. And so my daughter walks into my office and I hold her hand. I said, let's just pray. Let's just pray about this. I don't know where on earth or how we're going to find this basketball trainer that's going to take you to your next level. And we prayed, we said this prayer to God, and that was it, right? Put it in the universe. The next day, she stays home from school. She was semi-sick. Okay. It was one of those mama let you stay home moments. So she's running errands with me. And who did we run into? God had me and Tony Swindle and Liz Smith in the same store. We're talking a store. We're not talking about a basketball, sporting goods, nothing. We're talking about clothing, merch type stuff, nothing related to basketball. But I had a basketball shirt on, which is kind of laughable. And my daughter had a basketball shirt on. And that was his entry point to ask us, hey, are y'all into basketball? And this, and he handed us this card, full court advantage. And I remember thinking, I was skeptical because I'm like, God, that was awfully fast. Lord, you were listening last night. And so I said, let's just go. We didn't have anything to do that night. He invited us to his practice, to his workouts. And we went, and Liz's eyes were like this. Like her eyes were so big, she could not take her eyes off of absolutely everything that you were doing. It's literally like watching a child fall in love with basketball at the level she needed to. And so I knew at that point that you were stuck with us for life, number one. And but here you are. So, I guess my biggest question to you is, what even made you come over to us to begin with?
Like you said, you had the shirt, you had a shirt on, and she had basketball stuff on. So it was one of those things that it was like, hey, why not? Business, right? You want to grow your business. And I was just like, hey, you know what? Let me reach out to them to see if she want to be a ball player, a better ball player. And I asked, and everything went from there. I
see. And I love that about you, is that the sport is a business and the business is the sport. It's all in one. It's yes. Not separate. And I saw that you taught all the people who train, you taught them that in the same way. Like they didn't even realize what you were infusing into them, especially like Liz came to you, she was in the 5th grade, right? Like she didn't even realize what you were putting into her, but she was just soaking it up like a sponge. And she was working out with mostly boys, which for me, I thought that was a great advantage. That was the real full court advantage for, I think, a woman to develop training with boys. Tell me why that's important.
I mean, to take the normal way from, and this is not no sexist comment or anything. If there's a small percentage of ball players that are women that can really play. Mm-hmm. And when they play basically like guys. Mm-hmm. And you have, on the guy side, guys are aggressive. They want to go get it. They want to embarrass you. They want to score on you. They want to lock you up. They want to talk trash, all the above. That small percentage of women do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So it was like, okay, how can I take these players right here and turn them into these players right here? Mm-hmm. So it was the part where I was like, okay, how can I cross-pollinate these? And Liz, Jada, Lolo, mm-hmm. And a few others, I put them with these guys. Hey, y'all gotta go against them.
And you've had women flow through your training program to go on to represent the United States in yes. Team USA. Yes. And that's really important, right? There's a difference. And that's really why I prayed. Okay. I could meet a trainer. Okay. Someone who put on a business card, I train people. I could meet that person, but that's different than actually developing to a true next level. And, that's, I think, a criteria that people miss a lot of times as right. They're looking for what is important, what qualities are important in a trainer. People came to you and they didn't always like you. I noticed, because you're breaking bad habits, and yes. That's uncomfortable. That's yes. super uncomfortable.
Yes, we had quite a few people that left, and parents didn't understand what was really going on. My baby's good. Well, your baby cannot go left. Your baby cannot make a left-hand layup. Your baby cannot look up while they're dribbling. Your baby cannot play defense. And defense is one of those effort type things. So yeah, I'm going to be hard on you. I'm going to be that guy that's going to want to take you to the next level. And if you don't want to go to the next level, then that's fine. And you need to go find Willie Bobo to train with.
Well, thank God we didn't go to Willie Bobo. Thank God of that. Let me ask you this. What do parents generally get wrong about basketball and the development of their child? What do they get wrong most often?
That is a great question. One of the things I feel that they get wrong is they jump to where all the hype is. Wherever the hype is, that's where they want to go because they feel that their child is going to the right spot. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you got to understand, if a trainer hasn't built this person, or let me rephrase that. No, I'm going to add that part to it. Or knows how to take this player from here to here, then you're I'm pausing right now because I don't like to say
Pause is good. Silence is not violence on this show. That's okay. Yeah.
They have the part of, I'm just gonna say it like this right here. They see the oohs and ahs and they want to go towards the bells and the whistles. There's nothing wrong with that, but there is something wrong with that because now your baby is basically caught in the sauce of just the hype and they're not getting better.
Absolutely. So, I saw a lot of people want their child to be on a winning team, even if their child sat on the bench. And I thought to myself, to me as a parent, I thought, how can your child develop if they're not getting game time? And I think I saw in the stands as a parent. Now you are a parent that's in the stands. I know that's tough with your children. Not want to be Coach Swindle, but I saw a lot of times in the stands, it's almost like the parents wanted it more than the children. That's yes. number one. Yes. And you just see these parents that are just overstepping, and it's almost like basketball is the entertainment for them. Like their child out there is the entertainment versus, to me, the joy and the glory is in the development of where your child can grow in the sport. Because what we're talking about here, 1% of high school athletes go on to play in the NCAA ball at any level, not just Division I. At any level, there's only so many spots. So
Right.
just because Little Magic loves to play does not mean Little Magic can make it to the NCAA. I talk about Little Magic, gone Little Magic. Little Magic can't always play if she can't play. She's not going to be able to go out there. And I see that parents are not necessarily realistic. Ergo, I go back to having a real trainer, real cap, all caps on that is being honest with you about the child's development, where they can grow, and getting them connected in the right camps and all that. Okay. We've got lots more to talk about. I'm gonna go to commercial break. I'm gonna put you down for a minute because I got somebody else to come up, then I'm gonna bring you back. So please hang on with me, because that is really, really important. All right, you've been listening to Oh My Goodness Monday. This is the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM. We will be right back.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3 FM.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready. I'm gonna go to the house. I'm gonna go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. I'm gonna go to the house. I'm gonna go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Oh, we are back live and in color. If you're listening to us, this is the legendary KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM. This is Oh My Goodness Monday. I am not AJ. I'm the other J, Jennifer, Dr. J Tebow, filling in for the legendary AJ. And we are at the top of the hour at the midway point. You guys, I'm oh my gosh. This really is Oh My Goodness Monday. So because of it, I got to give some special music, okay? I got to go ahead and put something special on. this young lady can hear the music because I know she likes this artist. She's smiling right now. She recognizes the song. I have to give my next guest music that she loves. Every superhero needs some superhero intro music. So today's a special day on the lunch break. It's a day that generations have really dreamed up, to be honest with you. Today I get to continue the legacy, to officially on the radio from one generation to the next. As many of you know, I come from a generation of broadcasters, and this young lady is joining us today and she puts the phenom in phenomenal. She's a Division I basketball player playing on the West Coast at University of the Pacific in Stockton, California. Currently in her sophomore year, also majoring in communications with a desire to be a broadcast journalist. She was born in Plano, Texas. That's the Dallas area, y'all. You heard the Texan accent on that. She's a Dallas fan through and through, you all. There's nothing you can say to take her away from Dallas sports. I promise you that. She has one of the best sports minds I've ever shared the room with. And I don't mean that just because I am her mother. I mean that because you will hear it for yourself. She takes her Dallas Mavericks as seriously as she takes her opponents on the court. I'm bringing her up on the mic. She is my ride or die. She's my living proof that God handpicks a person for you. If I could introduce her on the court, I would be like, this is her 5'9", coming from Dallas, Texas, from IMG Academy, now at guard, number 24, Liz Smith. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you for having me, Mom.
How do you like that intro? Was that all right? Maybe a little longish?
Yeah, it was a little bit long, but I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, how are you feeling today? That's number one.
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
Very good. Yes. That's so one thing we talked about. You're currently in your season at University of the Pacific. Just because we don't want to step on toes and agreements, we are not talking about the basketball season, but from a history perspective, you're tired because you just got finished playing the national champ. So we'll just leave it there. Put in work on the court, and I just love that. But I will share something with the audience that I had a hard time going to sleep last night, and I text you several times because when you said this is like an honor to be on the court with the national champs, and I said in sports there are so few of those moments where we get a chance to kind of reflect and say this is kind of really cool. Like I actually get a chance to play out part of my dreams. And so don't talk about the game, but like, how did that actually feel? People that you admire as fellow athletes, as fellow Division I athletes, how did that feel?
I mean, honestly, like from the moment I started playing basketball, like these are the moments you dream of, playing the top teams, playing the top players, playing in front of the top coaches. I mean, this is what I dreamed of. Playing against Stanford. I mean, that's the best that it gets this season, playing the national champs. So, I mean, it was an honor and it was so much fun. And I mean, just to play against players that I know are going to be in the WNBA someday. Nneka Ogwumike was there. That was crazy. She was front row watching us warm up. So, I mean, it was so much fun and it was really an honor.
So do you think Nneka was like taking notes and passing them on to Tara Vandervoort, trying to give some unfair advantage?
I don't know, maybe, but I mean, either way, it was fun just to play in front of everyone. And I mean, it was a really fun crowd and it was so much fun.
Nneka Ogwumike, don't be scouting my baby's team like that. Trying to give the unfair advantage. Tara and her staff got it. All right, so you dribbled the ball for the very first time. I was there. We were in New Jersey. It was cold outside. There was not much to do. We were traveling, and I got a ball from the Residence Inn at their outdoor court. And again, it's cold. It's just about wintertime. And you dribbled, and I thought, this is it. This is the moment. Oh, my God. Like, that's when I fell in love with you playing basketball. But you didn't start playing until you were 8 years old. So tell me, like, what happened in the between time from 2 to 8 years old? Like, why did it take from the first dribble to 8 years old to get you on an organized team?
I mean, I think since I came out the womb, I've just been competitive and I hate losing. And I hated losing as a kid. And I didn't want to lose. So I didn't want to play basketball because I didn't want to lose. So I thought like, oh, if I don't play basketball, like I can't lose. So that's why I didn't play. But then I got over it, thankfully.
Thankfully. She was a winner, y'all, from 2 to 8. She's undefeated.
Undefeated, never lost.
Never lost, undefeated. That's exactly right. So you join Rec League, right? That's I think that's a great place for all athletes to start to see if you like it, right? Like I had Coach Tony on a little bit earlier. I think you heard some of that interview. Parents come in and they want their child to go play at the top team from the beginning, and that's just not realistic. What if your child doesn't like it? Like, one of the things we even talked about as recently as yesterday was making sure you're having fun on the job, right? And if your job is basketball, making sure the fun is always there. And so I like Rec League for that. But how'd you feel going out there for the first time? Got your little jersey on. I think you started out with number 26 out there. Was it the Ballers? No. That wasn't the team.
The All-Stars.
The All-Stars. How appropriate. It was the All-Stars. How did you feel? Like, was it like, okay, this is the start? Did you feel like it was something special, or it was just something fun to do at the time?
I think it was just something fun to do at the time with like the kids that went to my school. I don't really remember too much of it, but I just think it was just something fun, just running around, laughing, giggling. Because it was never serious. It was just like running around, shooting the ball, laughing, joking. So it was just something fun and something to get me into basketball, which I think definitely helped.
Absolutely. And then of course what also helped probably was your mama outfitting you with every knee pad, elbow pad, headband, wristband. You guys, if Nike sold it, I bought it. She had it. I'm talking about fat heads of Candace Parker. I was like, oh, we're going to show her basketball at every point.
She bought me a glove that had like a little peg on it so that I could learn how to dribble with my fingertips. Like, I had everything. Like,
now I already said, we all know I'm a gymnast. I'm a gymnast trying to help a basketball player, but I researched, but I knew my limitations. That's why we eventually went to Coach Tony, because I can only go so far. But you had everything. You're right. You had a weighted vest. You had ankle weights. You had the parachute. You had the ladder. You had the lateral bands. I literally, like, that was your Christmas. One of your Christmases was that. Was that too much? Be honest. It's only between me, you, and all the listeners on KYOK. Was that too much? Between me and you and all the listeners, I think that it was a bit much at the age that I was. If I was like 15, that's different. Like, I already knew what I wanted to do. I already knew I wanted to be a basketball player, blah, blah, blah. At 10 or whatever age it was that you gave that to me, 10. I think I would have preferred, some toys and some video games and stuff like that. But it's okay, because it's all part of the journey. Absolutely. Well, you and I had a crash course. We were destined for a crash course. I was going the wrong direction as a parent. I'm the first one to always admit it. I took my parenting too seriously on the sidelines, right? I wasn't filming. I was filming your games too, but I was trying to do it all. I was trying to, make sure the referees understood my perspective on things. I was trying to, sometimes I had to speak to the fans around. I was doing a lot. I guess your generation would say I was doing a little too much. And I was being really hard on you, as if like you were at an elite level and you were still in that transition phase from fun to, okay, I think I might want to, invest more of my passion into this. And so I remember we had this point where it was like, I think it was the point of no return. Either I needed to fix myself or I probably would have run you off of basketball. What do you think? Yeah, I agree. I just think I was so young and I just was still like a kid in my kid phase and just was stuck between like, yeah, I like basketball, but I also like hanging out with my friends. I also like playing video games. I also like doing kid things. But you were like, you really wanted to push me because you saw my potential. You saw like what I could be capable of, but I didn't see that at the time. I just wanted to be a kid. And so I think we just couldn't find that balance between each other at the time, but I'm glad we moved past that. I'm very glad too. There was some moments where I was trying to issue punishment and consequence for missed baskets. And I think there was one tournament that was my personal moment of truth. That was like, I can't do this. Like, all the fun in the sport is about to be gone. And all the talent in the world is about to be wasted if I keep on. So, I was always the first to admit, I actually wrote about it in a book, The Real MVP, that at some point you have to realize where you are and take a step back as a parent. And so I became the filming, quiet parent in the stands. Although one time I had to kind of threaten a a parent, but that's well, actually, I will bring that up because Liz, you remember this game. This was a tournament in Frisco, Texas. You played a team from Oklahoma. You were in like the 6th grade. I think it's 5th or 6th grade. And one of the players punched you on the court. Like punched, you guys, punched, okay? Punched my baby in front of me and in front of a referee. The referee looked at my baby and said, "Are you okay?" But did not blow the whistle, which just blew my mind. And so then at that point, there's some survival techniques I think that kicks in for all players on the court. If you get me, I'm gonna figure out how to get you. So Liz has a little push shove that, and she's very strong. Liz is very, very strong, which made me nervous because Liz is very strong. I thought she's going to push this girl all the way into the stands and we're going to have a different problem. But then that happened. Okay. So we had equal fire. And then the mother of the player was instructing her daughter to hurt you. And that's when all of my Christian left. I will admit that to the lunch breakers, all my Christian left. And I actually stopped my filming. I closed up my tripod so that it was long. And I looked at her and I said, this can be a bat. These are all things kids don't know while they're playing, what's really happening. And that tend to stop everything in its tracks, thank God. But I would have swung if I needed to protect my child and to protect me. You do what you have to do, Mama Bear. But those are all the dynamics happening in youth basketball. Were the things off the court sometimes a distraction, or did you even pay attention to that kind of stuff?
Just like in the crowd, or
just in the crowd, whether it was me involved or not?
I think when I was younger, probably like around that age, like I was like hearing things that were happening like around the court, or just like when you're like playing at a youth level, there's you're usually playing like in a rec center and there's like a lot of other courts around you. So there's a lot of whistles and there's a lot of chatter. And so like you hear that. So yeah, I definitely did. I wouldn't say I paid attention to it, but I definitely did hear it. But as I got older, like I literally did not hear anything that happens. Like, I mean, somebody could say something totally out of pocket. I would not hear it. Like I would have no idea. So,
and that's true because you tell me that all the time. Like, I did not hear you. I'm like, you didn't. I was yelling.
Like, I mean, they came and surprised me at one of my games versus Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and I didn't even know they were there until I literally ran into them. So I'm like, I have no idea what's going on around me.
And it took her a hot minute. I was actually, you guys, lunch breakers, I was low key a little scared. Liz had this like locked in, I'm going to beat my competitor look. And it is a look, okay? Like she turns into a different person on the court. And she was that person. And that person walked past me. So she walked past her own mother and she didn't see me. And I thought, what? But then I was kind of scared. Like maybe I don't want to talk to this person because this person is locked in. It was right before the game started. And then like she snapped out of it. And it was so crazy. But I love that about you. So I was filming, I was quiet, but then all of a sudden, you got an opportunity to go to IMG Academy. And so I tell parents all the time, if your child is in sports and if you're interested in them playing at the collegiate level, you're going to give your child to the world. I mean, even if your child's not in sports, you're going to give them to the world. They grow up to be 18, the world has them, right? It's your job to develop them and do all that. But I didn't necessarily plan on you going at 14 and the world having you that early. Shout out to Coach Shell Daly, who is the director of girls basketball at IMG Academy and the coach of the national team, which is the team that you jumped on, because I felt very comfortable with that. But you were away, you did a really different path and went away for school that not a lot of girls do. Boys tend to do it a little bit more, but it's still not as common to go to a prep boarding academy like an IMG Academy. Was that different for you? Was it exciting?
It was everything. Like it was exciting, it was scary, it was heartbreaking. Like, I mean, it was just a lot, leaving you, for example, just like leaving you was hard. But I mean, being at IMG, I met some of my best friends that I still talk to, even after a year and a half of being graduated from the school. So I mean, I am so blessed that I had that opportunity to go to that school. And I really grew as a person, as a basketball player. And I mean, it was a blessing.
Oh, well,
blessing.
I agree. It was hard for me to have to watch the games on live stream versus being in the stands all the time. That was a huge adjustment for me. And I thought, well, this is how it's probably going to be in college, but doesn't mean I really liked it. I was like, okay, I guess this is how it is. But your senior year was like a whirlwind. So many things happened. You're nominated for McDonald's All-American. That's a blessing. And then this thing called COVID hits in your senior year. And you guys joke with me because you said prom was important, but it was just really, I wanted you to have the so-called normal senior year, and that whole thing changed. And so all of a sudden you graduated sitting right next to me. I was like, baby, turn your tassel. That's it. You graduated. How was that experience as a student, especially student athlete, having to go through COVID in your senior year?
I mean, I think it's interesting for me though, because I feel like IMG was not a normal school at all. And I just love how you always say like, oh, I wanted you to have a normal senior year. I was never going to have a normal senior year. Like I was never going to IMG is just different. And so it was different for me. Like I wasn't really too upset that COVID hit and I didn't get to finish my senior year. Like mentally, I was checked out. I was done. I had senioritis. I was like, yes, I get to lay in my bed for the next 3 months and then get ready for college and then go to college. Like that was where my mind was at, you know? And I mean, obviously I would have loved to see my friends one last time. I would have loved to walk the stage and take pictures and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, like we always say, everybody's journey is different. And this is something I'm going to tell my kids one day, and they're going to tell their kids, and they're going to tell their kids. And this is something like COVID, this is going to be in the history books. And we're a part of that, which is crazy. So.
Absolutely. Now for you, because you did early signing, your recruitment process didn't get impacted by COVID, but so many who were relying on the April signing, I think it's around April 15th for basketball, COVID hit and it changed everything about everything, like what spots were available. NCAA canceled the NCAA tournament. It changed everything. Were you glad that you already signed on the dotted line?
Oh yeah. I mean, that would have been that would have been the stress piece of it. Like that would have been, I don't know what I would have done. I think probably as soon as COVID hit, I would have tried to commit right then and there. Just to get it out the way, because I mean, it was chaotic. That's all I will say. Like from the time COVID hit to the time the first semester started of college, it was a whole lot of transfers and a whole lot of signings. So it was a lot going on.
Absolutely. All right, I'm about to go to break, but I have to ask you this. So Kevin Hart says everybody wants to be famous, but not everybody wants to put the work in. And so from your perspective, you've gone a different route. We even homeschooled you for 2 years before you even went to IMG. Like your route was just constantly different. Talk to the younger Liz, the up and coming, the next Liz Smith. Tell her what she's got to do to get herself in position to be recruited in the NCAA.
Well, Liz, you just have to you have to work hard. I mean, that's where it starts. I mean, I was listening to like a little bit of what Coach Tony said. Like, you can throw yourself in the hype, but the hype is not always going to last. And there's a lot of hype players who you don't hear of anymore because they didn't work hard. So, I mean, work hard. That's the first thing. And the opportunities will come. And when those opportunities come, you take them.
Absolutely. All right. I love it. I love it. Okay, we're going to go on a quick break. Liz, stick with me. Coach Tony, I'm bringing you back. You've been listening to KYOK, the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. This is Oh My Goodness Monday. We're about to go on commercial break.
I am I'm Jacqueline Carr, and here is your winning strategy. Learning to save $2 or $3 out of every $10 was one of the lessons my parents shared with me. They wanted us to start early, teaching how to save so that we could break the curse of living from paycheck to paycheck and borrowing to make ends meet. My parents said that finances are a struggle for people, even good people. They wanted us to appreciate the finances we had, but also have wisdom of spending it. I had to learn it as a child that even though my parents gave me a roof over my head, food to eat, and clothes to wear, if I wanted to go to the movies or skating, I had to save money for those things. I began to encourage myself to save money. I learned that youth respond better if we challenge them even at a young age to learn how to manage every dollar they get.
Welcome to Allstate, where we've just lowered our auto rates. And savings like that will have you jumping for joy. Now get new lower auto rates with Allstate, because better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click or call for a lower auto rate today.
All right, I gotta get the lean back on this one. You know, I'm a big music buff. This is what I do, and this is how we roll. Now I'm bringing in my crew. This is my crew. This is like I need to take a picture and like frame this. I'm gonna screenshot this later because this little crew, we did a few things. We did a few things. I always say just add mics and mix, and that's really where we are with this. So I'm bringing back Tony Swindle, and with us also is Liz Smith. You guys, we've not ever done this like in life. We have never done some live broadcast. How does it feel?
I don't even know. This is crazy. We've never been on a screen all at the same time. We've always been like in person. So,
Tony. I think your mic is still. I think I muted you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep, got you.
Hey, we here. This is fun. You know, that's all I got to say. Hey, baby girl.
hey.
What I loved about having you guys, getting you guys together right after Liz went to IMG, she came back for spring break her freshman year, and Tony, you had like a showcase event. Okay.
It was an all-star event. It was an
all-star event. Liz was invited. But I love the side part of the all-star event. You know, the court part was fine, but it was when you two got together and challenged each other one-on-one. I still have the video.
Don't play it.
No, I'm not going to show the clip. I'm not going to show the clip only because, you know, some people are only listening. They're not going to be able to understand what happened. Liz got you a couple times. Am I right on that one?
I was out of shape. No, she got me. She got me. I was really excited about the whole thing. Like she really okay, the handle is there now. It's there. So it was a beautiful thing. I almost shed a small tear, but the competitive, person wouldn't let me. It's like, dude, you just let her do this to you. So literally after that Sunday and the rest of I got in shape because I was a little upset. I was a little upset. Just a little.
Liz, how did it feel to kind of get past Coach Tony on a one-on-one situation?
It felt great. It was always meant to be. And
see, there we go.
It was always meant to be. And now, I can say I'm better than him. So so whenever I go back to Texas, we definitely have to do one-on-one or something.
Oh, it's so on. It's on. Oh, it's on. I'm in now. I'm at a solid 185. I'm ready. I run my 5 miles every day. We're ready. We're ready.
All right.
Well, what I find interesting is we're at this point, but if I recall, if I flip it a few years back, let me just say, Coach Tony never let up on Liz Smith in practice. In the beginning, Liz Smith was not liking Coach Tony only during practice. Now when practice left, she was fine. But there were some moments where Coach Tony told the boys that were also training to not take it easy on Liz Smith. Was that totally on purpose? Was that the grand design, Tony?
That was the grand design. When y'all came to me, and I think, matter of fact, maybe it was 2, maybe 3 weeks in, I asked you all, okay, how serious do y'all want to take this thing? And in the beginning, she was like, "Oh, was it the first? It was it her ankle and her asthma was acting up."
Yeah, right. Ankle asthma, the ankle injury transferred from the left to the right in the same day. Right. The limp changed. Yes.
Type of injury right here. You know what? But okay. But as time progressed, I asked you all, how seriously y'all want to take this, and y'all said, "Hey, we want this. We want it." And I asked Liz, "Are you sure that you want it?" "Yes, I do. Yes, I do, Coach Tony." I said, "All right." And then that's where we started hitting it. And I was like, "I'm not going to be hard on you. You're not going to like me. And I don't care." Put her, as a matter of fact, she started off with the intermediate. And, and they were pretty good, but it was a part where I was like, okay, this kid has something else. And you was getting better by the day. And it was one of those things that I had to say, okay, I got to turn this up some more. Now I'm a nitpick at her. Okay, the dribble wasn't hard enough. The footwork was horrible. You're not shooting over your head. Shoot over your head. Stop shooting from your neck. That pass is too soft. Beam it. And everything that I said, she responded. She didn't like it, but she responded. And I was like, okay, now she's responding. Now I'm gonna take you higher, And then that's where we went from. Matter of fact, you started doing both the classes, the intermediate and advanced. I had plans.
And she took it. Yeah, I think she took off from there. And to me, it was so valuable that she didn't even play on a team. She was going to U 4 days a week, sometimes 5 on Saturdays. And Liz, did that feel like too much? Because you were asking me at the time, but now I can ask you in retrospect. Did it feel like too much, or was it exactly what you wanted?
At the time, no, but I also think I just had a whole bunch of kid energy and I never got tired. If it was now, I don't think I would be able to do that. Like, I would be tired. But then, I mean, I had kid energy and I was just going. I was ready to go every single day, twice a day. Like, that's what I wanted. Like, I was good.
So why did the combination of you two work so well? Why do you think, Liz?
I think just because we're so similar. Like, we're both laid back and we both love to have fun, but also work at the same time. And always, like, I mean, as a kid, I didn't really understand it, but now, like, he wanted me to get better and he saw my potential and he pushed me to do that. If you don't have a coach that's going to push you, there's no point. Like, there's literally no point. He pushed me every single day, 5 days a week, 4 days a week. And I mean, that's why I am where I am right now. If I literally did not have him to push me every single day, like, I would not be in the position that I am right now.
Oh, let's hold back the tears. Hold back the tears, Coach Tony.
One of the things, and I watched the game last night, and I'm gonna call you later. But one of the things that that made me want to hone in on you more is because your imagination was here. If I say, hey, okay, I want you to go by, when we was training, we do your hunting with your right, hunting with your left. As you get done with that, you go around the walls, going behind your back with the passes, and you go behind your head or behind your shoulders, whatever you want to call it, behind. And you wasn't afraid to try it. The cross court bounce pass, and just the way I told you to handle the ball. And last night, I was watching you handle the ball. Nobody get that ball from you, and then you was making some really, really good passes like that. I was listening to the commentary. Oh, that's a great pass by Liz Smith. And I'm like, yeah, we did that. We worked on those things, and of course you had trainers, after me, but just a part of you having the audacity to not be afraid to make passes like that, because like those were passes that you made, they were really good passes, but the normal person wouldn't make those type of passes. It was like, okay, if it's not right there, no, this room, pass. So I was like, yeah, we did that.
You had a proud coach moment, huh?
Yeah. I was, yes.
Well, where I knew, I think you always see signs as a player develops on where this thing might go. And where I saw an early sign was, Coach Tony, you had a trainee, a younger girl coming in, she was really fresh to basketball, right? But she was looking at everything Liz did. I think we had been in your program for probably almost a year at that point. And she started wanting to dress like Liz, wear her shoes like Liz, wear her hair like Liz. And I'm just struck by that because I thought to myself, and even more interesting is she was a completely different ethnicity, but she saw beauty in what she saw in Liz. And I thought to myself, okay, people want to emulate. Now you've notched yourself to a level. Now we're in a realm of name, image, likeness, NIL, right? Where the value of that athlete is being monetized, is being allowed to be monetized at the collegiate level. And I'm gonna start with Liz, because Liz, I know that we talked about the significance of Paige Becker's signing with Gatorade. Where do you think NIL goes as far as women's basketball is concerned?
I mean, I think Paige, first of all, has started the NIL with a bang. I mean, Gatorade, StockX. I mean, those are huge companies. Like, those are multi-million-dollar companies. And I mean, I think the opportunity is there for a lot of women's basketball players. And she's definitely leading the way. I mean, I know there's some twins who go to Fresno State who signed with Boost Mobile. So I mean, the opportunity is there. And it's really gonna help women's basketball get up there, and hopefully people will really start watching it, especially at the college level, because that's where it starts. Because the new generation is playing right now in the NCAA. So once we start getting these deals, and then going on to the next level, I mean, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so much fun.
Absolutely. Tony, Mr. Marketing, where do you see NIL impacting women's basketball?
It's gonna impact them a lot, especially financially. Women's basketball doesn't get their just dues in regards to the finance piece when it comes to the NBA, WNBA. We see a lot of that inside the social media realm, but I think it's a great situation. It's just a part of how smart the parents are on getting with the right people to get the deals that child needs.
Absolutely.
Everyone's not going to be a Page. Everyone's not going to be the twins. The Fresno kids. You have to figure out what works for you and your child. So, and they have to have a brand. They have to have a personality. There's so many avenues that you have to check. Or there's so many things on the list that you have to check off to make sure, okay, is my child marketable? And now if my child is marketable, let's go get it.
Absolutely. And I think you said it right there. It is now a business, right? It's closing the loop, and it's a business that the athlete themselves can cash in on, right? I hate hearing the argument. Hate is such a strong word, but it's appropriate. Hate hearing the argument when athletes make a ton of money and they say, oh, that's too much. Are you kidding? Do you know how many years they made other people money? When Liz was playing rec ball, that was bringing people into that facility that were buying concession stands that were, so they had to have concession workers. You know how many people an amateur athlete has actually indirectly employed? because of their presence, their attraction. They're the attraction piece that brings in everything else. They're working for free for so long. It's a multi-trillion-dollar business, or industry for a reason. One thing that I will share with the KYOK family is one thing we did as a family. The moment it was legal to be able to position yourself for name, image, likeness, Liz started a business, Liz Smith LLC. And so the mentality is really clear here. If you want to be able to receive funds, you have to be able to receive funds. You have to be set up and structured as a business. And I would encourage everybody is in your path of name, image, likeness to get out of the oohs and the ahs of what you see in the media for a handful of players and make sure you're actually in position to receive funds. You understand what is it going to look like tax implication wise? Is this something we're really interested in doing? And to your point, Coach Tony, do we have the expertise under our roof to handle it? And if not, let's go find it first. Let's not seek it out. There was an athlete that shared a story with me saying that they had friends who were calling around to companies, hey, you want to sponsor me? Hey, you want to sponsor me? And it's like, you're not even ready to be sponsored at this point. There are steps involved. There's levels to this thing. And I think being able to understand the levels of the business of name, image, likeness will help an athlete tremendously. Because, we see a lot of male athletes, so we feel like in the media getting these deals, but really and truly it's still such a small number of male athletes getting individual deals. You have some programs where they're paying everyone on the team. That's awesome. Like that's a heck of a recruiting tool, by the way. If you know that if you commit to this school, when you go, they already have a system set up that every player gets a certain amount as a team wide NIL. I think that's going to be part of what we'll start to see happen. I think it's going to impact the stipends that athletes get tremendously.
Yeah.
What's a stipend when you've got some athletes pulling 100,000?
Yeah, there's a couple kids right now that are they
pulling it in. JJ McCarthy, that was the quarterback for IMG Academy last football season on the national championship team. He is literally giving money away hand over fist to nonprofit organizations, and his sponsors are matching it. So he's just blessing upon blessing. But I believe the number, I could be wrong, he's pulling almost 100,000 a month in sponsorship dollars.
Come on.
IMG Academy, high school kid. 1 year later, 100,000. He's a donor to multiple charities. That's where we're at right now. 19 years old.
Come on.
That's the possibilities.
And the beauty about it is they saw the opportunity, they made a game plan, and then they attacked it.
Right. It's not like he just He didn't just say, hey, anybody want to sponsor me? And people just started coming up. There was this whole system set up that they'll never show you, right? We're probably one of the few people actually talking about behind the scenes, how it really came to be. And it's the draw and it's the attraction. So women's basketball, the rules are different, you guys, for collegiate women and collegiate men in basketball. Men can come out after 1 year. Liz, it has to be what, 3 years or 4?
I think it's 3.
3 years. 3 years. So why is there a difference?
I don't really know, to be honest. I think the main difference is just because in the past, women after 1 year have not been able to leave college and play pro in WNBA. I think now, like, you have somebody like Paige Beckers or Aaliyah Boston, people like that, I feel like could have gone after their freshman year, sophomore year. So, I mean, I could probably see the rule changing in the future. But I don't really have a real answer.
All right. So, Coach Tony,
I feel that they should change it. I've always felt they should change it. I mean, why not? You know, it's up to that young lady. And the thing about it is, and I could be so wrong, but women, their body age faster than men. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yes, you're correct.
So with that, you want to get them when they're in that prime, that time where they're going, because one, y'all putting a lot of wear and tear on your body. So if you have an opportunity to go make some money to do it, then go do it. You know, you hear a lot about, you know, players playing professional basketball and taking courses online and going back and then getting their degrees. You know, why not? It's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Mhm.
I'm very pro one and done. You know, I'm pro. Should if you have the opportunity, go take it. You know, if it, as long as the money makes sense.
Absolutely. If it makes sense for your career,
Yeah,
why would we
yeah. I
hold
mean,
anyone back, at all? Why would we hold anyone back from being at that level? I will say this, when you think about the evolution of women's basketball, when the WNBA started, you had a lot of basketball greats, but they were aging, right?
yeah.
You like
They were already there. They were already in their prime.
they were already in their prime. Some you may argue past their prime, but they were so amazing that they weren't really past their prime. Okay. No, that age wise, they weren't spring chickens, but they were dominating. Okay. But
Right.
the league was older. And
Mhm.
so I feel like the league has gotten younger, but it's this 3 years rule that has prevented the league from getting to the youthful age I believe it could be, to help it be more athletic and more creative.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really do believe that it's that rule that's holding it back. And I'm like you all, I don't understand the good reason why the rule exists. I mean, this goes right back to almost 2 years ago, NCAA tournament, when the weight room was different for the women than the men. Why is there even a mentality of setting up a difference for the same sport, athletes doing the same work? Why is that woven into the fabric of basketball? It's like we still fight that, I think, to this day, trying to bring light to the discrepancies in wages and income. You've got WNBA players taking commercial flights, sitting in coach seats, having to take sometimes two layovers to get to a game, traveling 17 hours. And the fans, they want to see a good product on the court, and the players want to give them that good product. But behind the scenes, they're not afforded the same opportunities necessarily as what you see on the men's side. So you wonder why the product looks different. The ingredients are different, but we
Yeah.
don't always talk about that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just think like for the WNBA, I mean, I was thinking about this as you guys were talking. Like, I feel like if you look at the NBA, you have a lot of wasted potential, and you have a lot of guys who came out too early. You have a lot of guys who probably should have stayed an extra year. And I think that's kind of where the WNBA probably is coming from. Like, we want to make sure these girls are ready because we need them to be playing well. We don't want them to come in and then not do anything. And then there we go, like wasted potential right there. So I think maybe that could be the reason, why there is a 3-year rule. But then you have people like Beckers, for example, who just hurt her knee and is going to be out for the season. Like, if she would have went after 1 year, this would have happened, and she would have been making money for the WNBA this summer or last summer. So it's like, it kind of goes both ways. Like, the 1 year rule that needs to be put into place.
Yeah. Because this is the thing. You know, if the person chooses to be a one and done, that's their gamble.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to have somebody in your camp. Hey, no, you're not ready yet. You know, or yeah, now, oh yeah, now you're ready. Now let's go, do it. Because now, okay, I'm averaging 25 points a game. These people cannot check me.
Well, Tony, you're asking for people to have honest folks in their corner. Uh-oh, did I say the big H word?
Yeah, you did.
Houston, Texas, did I use that other H word, honesty, in youth sports, which doesn't always exist? You got a lot of people telling Little Magic that Little Magic can shoot and Little Magic can't shoot. Little Magic needs to stay at home and get in those books. And that to me tears up the sport. Okay, there's a G League. Liz Smith and Tony Swindle. What about a G League for women? Would that help to solve a developmental gap between college and professional women's sports?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no, and the reason behind it is you have more guys playing in the G, not just in the G League, but in the the NBA conglomerate.
Mm-hmm.
On the WNBA side, you don't, we're still growing that piece.
The talent pool is smaller.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to really execute with what we have right now. Mm-hmm. And we really haven't. Mm-hmm. We have players that can kill and that are marketable, but they won't let them, the WNBA won't let them just go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Back in, was it 96?
Mm-hmm. That's when they started. Right after the Olympics. Mm-hmm.
Started, everybody's loving it, but you have Cheryl Swoops, the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. You had these quote unquote comparisons. Now, don't get me wrong. You want the players to have their own identity, mm-hmm. but if you still look at Diana Taurasi, wasn't she quote unquote the white mamba?
Right. Well, that's what they called her.
It's all marketing.
Mamba. So they consider her the what? Kobe.
Right.
So it's just my opinion. It's about really seeing, okay, we have our favorites here, but we got to start looking for some younger favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Because it goes back again to what I said earlier. After so long, these young ladies, them knees start going out.
Yes.
They start getting a little bad on them. So let's start getting these younger ones and start really pushing the narrative. You got your Dee Dee done went, Dee Dee Richards, she's going crazy right now, and quite a few others. What's her name? I can't pronounce her right now.
Agumbawale. Agumbawale?
Yes. And there's countless others, but you really gotta let a lot of these kids, these young ladies, just go get it instead of just trying to hold them back. Oh, this is not an apprentice. No, let them eat. Because if you let them eat, now it's going to be more views.
Absolutely. To Liz's point, the door, if you can open the door, you'd be amazed at who comes on through. Now, we've got a comment. Keith Hennick says, it appears that college athletics is still under the power of the old boys network. Time for those old boys, for them to step aside and realize that their mindset is way outdated. And I agree with that. Tony, I'm a little bit older than you. So I remember when the NBA finals were not televised live. They were on replay. Do you think the WNBA is progressing in the same kind of rate as the NBA? I mean, there was a time NBA wasn't what it is today. Do you think it's just that there's just early in the incubation phase, and as more time goes, it will become what we see the NBA is today?
Yeah, it's once again, the WNBA is young, but the WNBA has to be disruptive. Mm-hmm. They have to be disruptive. And I hope someone in the WNBA is watching this right now. You have to be disruptive. Yes. I'm a man, but I'm a feminist. I love women's basketball. I love every aspect. This young lady right here is a prime example of it. You have to be disruptive. You just can't stay inside this one small box. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at with my with my camera. you can't stay inside this box. You got to think outside. Okay, let's go grab, this young lady over here that she's thin and raily, but she can cross somebody all the way over and drop a nice no look. People want to see exciting basketball.
That's
We
it.
just don't want to see play. No, we want to see some to the back, behind the back. Oh, you see that? We want to see exciting, and that's one of the main reasons that the NBA is the NBA. Coach might drop a play, but dude, like, whatever. Boop, boop, boop. Dime. Oh my gosh, did you see that? Yes.
I think that's what the WNBA is missing right now. It's just that exciting factor. I mean, like women, like we're not sitting over here dunking on people. Like that's something that we can't do right now. So the WNBA needs players that are gonna cross people up and make these crazy passes and make half court shots, and like that's what they need. Like and it starts with the WNBA finding the right players, expanding the league. Like I mean, it's hard to find players when you only got 12 teams with 12 roster spots.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. But it goes back again to they really have to execute. Like they have to execute the part of the player piece. They finding all the exciting players and just letting them play.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to see floppy or run this play. We don't want to see all that. We want to see basketball. We want to see a fast break, cross court, no look, bounce pass, finger roll.
Well, I remember a young Liz Smith, just finishing up 6th grade, I think, goes to USC camp as Cynthia Cooper, who was the head coach at the time. Liz was starting to be in the history of the sport, and she asked Cynthia Cooper, "Why don't we have the Houston Comets anymore?" And
I know she asked that.
Right, she asked that. Just finished 6th grade. Liz Smith asked that question. Great question. And I'm not going to share the answer because that's their private conversation. But we still want to know, like Houston, we need the Comets back. That'd be a great expansion. Not really expansion, a get back in the fold.
It's iconic.
Market.
Yeah,
it's iconic.
Yeah, it's iconic. Houston is a great market. They follow their fans like crazy. I mean, to bring back the WNBA to Houston and call it the Comets, don't give it a new name. To bring it back would just absolutely be amazing, and it would just be yet another sport that would provide opportunity for women. Okay, we could talk forever. I hate that I'm looking at 3 minutes and some change. So, Coach Tony, I will hit you first. You've done so much beyond the bio that I have. You have a magazine, you have showcases, you have a league. Tell us in this 30-second commercial, what have you been up to and how can people get in touch with you?
You can hit me on Instagram, Tony.Swindle, or you can find me with Swin City League, SWIN City League, Swin City Mag. Same situation.
And that's a magazine. Nice online magazine. I really love it. Brother, I'm so proud of what you do. I know that the basketball game can sometimes be up and down, especially when you're in it for the right reasons, right? Yeah. Like to me, it's easy to group up with people who are in it for the wrong reasons. That part is easy because there's a lot of those people out there. But to be in the sport for the development and the betterment of athletes, that sometimes is up and down. And you've stuck with it and you have risen as like cream to the top to be victorious and just providing so many opportunities, whether it's you're developing them or they have opportunities to showcase your skill. So I appreciate you so much. I tell you that all the time. So get out of there. Lunch breakers, make sure you follow Tony. I'm going to drop you off, Tony, for a second. Liz Smith, how can people keep in touch with your season, your games, what you're doing, if they want to sponsor you, all that? I'm gonna set it up. Go ahead, go. 30 seconds.
You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. It's Liz Smith, but the I in Smith is an X, so it's LIZSMXTH. You can also follow Pacific WBB. Follow my team in our season. We're almost done with our preseason, about to start conference in the West Coast Conference. So I mean, we would love if you guys could support us. Come to games if you're on the West Coast, watch games online. really all of that really matters to us. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Liz. I appreciate you. I know you have like a tough life right now. You've got a photo shoot to run off to. So I appreciate you stopping to take time to talk to me. I'm going to drop you off as well. Lunch breakers, this has been real. We're going to have a quick commercial break, and I'll come back to wrap it up.
AFT presents a grand gift giveaway. It's a drive-through holiday event. Hi, this is Eugene Johnson with Man to Man Let's Talk.
Hi, this is Shy from Shiloh Radio and the legendary KYOK. Join us Saturday, December 18th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, broadcasting live from Aldine AFT office located at 1404 North Sam Houston Parkway East. We will be giving away free HEB gift cards, turkeys, holiday gifts, and more while supplies last.
And it's open to the community. That's Saturday, December 18th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Aldine AFT office, 1404 North Sam Houston Parkway East.
That's right. Come on by and drive through and give these holiday treats a kickoff Christmas with Aldine AFT and the legendary KYOK. We'll see you there.
All right. It just wouldn't be right if I don't talk about how blessed it feels to be a part of, you know, this whole thing. I cannot thank you, Lunch Breakers, for embracing my brand from Bradenton, Florida, of the fill-in and the takeover for the legendary AJ. This, again, you know, you wake up in the morning and say, number one, I made it on the wake-up list. God is good. So God had a plan for me, and so I'm going to execute. And so part of that execution and that journey was us today. And so we leave here and we get a chance to do all the other things that was the purpose for the day. And so, you know, I just encourage you just to be, you know, focused on what your contribution is. Be open eyes, open minds, open hearts to the people around you. You never know when people need you. They may just need your voice. They may just need your presence. It's just an important part of who we are. You know, we see all these different people struggling. It's the holidays. A lot of times people struggle with loneliness and other things. Make sure you're present and available to people around you. That's how we kind of do this thing called life. And so I'm signing off. Again, this has been Oh My Goodness Monday on the legendary KYOK AM 1140, 92.3 FM. You all take care. I will see you soon.